Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. And do you remember just like last week or a couple of weeks, I guess August 1st, we talked about a bunch of free stuff coming to Hearthstone, including Golden Hearthstone Brew, Golden Packs, and yeah, Blizzard has somehow managed to mess this up. It's just baffling. We'll go over why you haven't received your Golden Packs, or maybe you have. I'm not even sure at this point. It's such a mess. We'll talk about everything going on, as well as an interview with Gamer.com that has a lot of answers, but not really much of substance. We'll go through that interview. It's just kind of interesting and all of that. And if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below, give the video a like. It helps us out a lot as we're on the road to 85,000 subscribers. So week 1 and 2, we're supposed to get that Golden Hearthstone Brew, which I think went off fine. I think pretty much everybody got that, no problem. Then there was supposed to be a first Golden Pack, which I still haven't received. I know a ton of people still haven't gotten it. And then there was supposed to be regular standard Perils of Paradise packs, which are not even in the shop. They're the regular ones, not there. Postponed to a bug, postponed due to a bug. And while Play Hearthstone did tweet out today, they've had multiple tweets. It's just, how hard is it just to give a free pack? It's crazy that it's, how much man hours do you think is being wasted on this? Anyways, we're still working to fix a bug preventing players from claiming their free packs in the shop. The next drop will be postponed as we resolve this issues. Players who didn't get last week's Golden Pack will be granted one once the problem is sorted. Thank you for your patience. And Deck Tech on the social crew did say here, seeing some folks asking if they should try to claim the pack now. Apparently it appeared in the shop for some people, not me, not at all, and said, yes, if you haven't tried yet, give it a go. You'll either be safe and get it right away, or get stuck by the bug and put on the list of people to heal up later. So it's just a baffling situation that they're trying to do something nice, right? They've been doing a lot of dumb stuff. You know, where's our board? We would really like that. Imagine all the time you're spending on this stuff. Imagine if you spent it on a board. Again, we don't know how much it costs in logistics, but still, I think a lot of people really miss that. And I'm not really dropping that because, yeah, I do miss that. But yeah, if you're wondering where your pack is, yeah, who knows? Like, literally, who knows when it'll come? They're working on it, and it just, it's silly. It sucks. Like, people would like to open their free stuff. For me, it doesn't matter. I got all the cards. But for the majority of players, I feel like, yeah, it'd be nice to get, maybe you get a legendary, maybe you get an epic that you can throw in your deck. Be awfully nice, but it's just baffling that this continues to happen. But they did say that even though it's postponed, they're going to extend the window, whatever the postponage is. So let's say this doesn't get resolved for a week, they'll add an extra week to claim all this stuff. So they're not going to have it like August 28th be the end of it. They'll extend that further. That's why they dashed out everything here. So again, a really silly situation. And the other thing I wanted to talk about today is an interview that, you know, just look at the title, it should tell you a lot. Hearthstone's new director wants to be fearless, not careless. Corporate buzzwords. Absolutely everybody's favorite, but we rarely ever hear from the Hearthstone director. And like back in the day, Ben Brode was always all over the place. Ben Lee would pop up in mercenary trailers, but you know, DIL, Exar, all that, he would do AMAs every week. We've usually had, you know, our directors be pretty out there, and you know, most people have no idea. Like right now, I haven't mentioned his name. Do you know his name? I don't even actually have to read it again. I think it's Tyler Beelman. Regardless, like the majority of players don't know, and that's brought up. So let's go through this interview. I just thought it was kind of interesting. As mentioned here, Blizzard has had a lot of public-facing game directors over the years, and they go over all these different ones. Hearthstone has been the exception. Former director Ben Brode was as beloved by the Hearthstone community as any director has ever been. But since leaving Blizzard to develop Marvel Snap at his own studio in 2018, and yes, it's his own studio, so if you don't like their monetization and greedy practices, he's the one in charge of it. Anyways, it's a whole topic for a different video, but I really do think him leaving was actually one of the best things for Hearthstone. It's a hot take, I know, but I kind of have evidence to back it up, but I got to throw that out there. But anyways, it does say Hearthstone player either doesn't know who the director is anymore, or they think it's Ben Brode. Even Google apparently thinks it's Ben Brode. That's pretty funny. So despite having left the team more than 6 years ago, Hearthstone has had quite a few different directors since then, the ones I mentioned, but recently that title has belonged to Tyler Beelman. The last 16 months, over a year. It took only a few minutes for me to be convinced that the veteran developer who spent more than 20 years as a TCG designer and video game developer really gets Hearthstone. His earnest and admiration for the game came through. So clear when he speaks, I just couldn't understand why he's behind the scenes when he could be front and center the way his most well-known predecessor was. So I asked him. Tyler did respond. When I started, I spoke with the marketing team, the PR team, and with Nathan, the executive producer, and asked, how can I be best of service to the game? We could try me being that sort of forward face like that, or we can give other people more opportunity, Bielman explains. Ultimately, the decision we collectively came to, as we didn't think having a single face was necessarily in the interest of the game or the brand. I like the answer because I think that the game is for all of us, and I don't think tying it to one personality is necessarily what's right for Hearthstone at this point. I think that's fine, but it would have been nice to hear from this guy at some point rather than just when shit hit the fan. That's basically what's happened, right? He's become a little bit more vocal as things have gone really wrong, and it would have been nice to be tied to somebody before that happened so you can have some goodwill. So maybe that wasn't the greatest approach. Should put yourself out there a little bit. Don't have to be the front center, but yeah, regardless, just a interesting decision. It's stated here, it's been a few weeks since our interview, and I can't help but wonder if having Bielman more visible could have staved off some of the communication issues the studio has been dealing with recently. Just last week, the company had addressed a mounting online panic that the development of Hearthstone was starting to wind down because of the newest expansion didn't come with the board. Without a trusted name and face to deliver important updates about the game, it can be easy to interpret some of Hearthstone's recent changes as worrying signs for the future. And yeah, exactly the point I was making there. The end of Mercenaries last year, the removal of duels this year, and total lack of new solo adventures. I do want to talk about that in a future video. Over the last few years, all seem to point to the same thing. 10 years in, Hearthstone is over the hill, starting to run out of steam. What's more, unpopular changes to weekly quests that increase the grind read like telltale signs of a game that's bleeding players and starting to put the squeeze on the ones it still has. Bielman acknowledges that they've made a few mistakes over the last 15 months that were not great, but the team tries to correct them as fast as they can. There's limitations to the technology. They're literally admitted they don't have the technology. That's pretty funny. Limitations to how fast we can respond, but that commitment to relentlessly delivering a live service game that is good as it can be at any moment, that's really important to us. Okay, that's nice, I guess. When it comes to changing the scope of Hearthstone and the abandoned game modes, Bielman says that in order to over-deliver for the players in the areas that are the most important, he has to be careful about spreading the team too thin. I have to pick and choose a little bit on where we're going to really focus our energies. He explains, as a byproduct of losing things like duels, Bielman says we're going to see Hearthstone focusing in. He cites duos as an example, a new feature for an experimental game mode that far exceeded everyone's expectation. Bielman believes duos resonates with players because it adds new emotional component to the auto battler by giving players the opportunity to help each other and win together. That's an example of a focused effort, and that we can only do with a lot of the teams centered on that idea and not other areas. So basically saying, if they still had duels, they still had all this other stuff, they wouldn't be able to make a mode like duos, right? Which again, I actually haven't heard a lot about since it came out, but regardless, it sounds like it's doing well. But if they think the whole multiplayer thing or cooperative thing, maybe we could get 2v2 ladder. How about that? You never know. Anyways, Bielman's vision for the future isn't solely focused on plussing up existing game modes, though. It's important to over-deliver where the players already are. He says the team also needs to continue experimenting to find the next big thing. Hopefully not Brock Lesnar. The new Twist format, introduced in May, is a big part of that success. Twist has been so unpopular. Anyways, Twist is an event-based mode where the devs can try stuff without committing to an entire new game mode that may or may not be successful. True, Wizbank Zero is kind of like its own mode, right? So I understand that. I feel like it didn't really seem to capture people that much and had tons of balance issues, but regardless, I don't want to add another thing into your day-to-day play, Bielman says. If we ask you to come look at this thing, it's because we think it's cool, and probably secretly we're looking to learn something. So maybe to translate towards a new mode or something they want to try on ladder. These kind of calculated experiments, along with over investing in the parts of Hearthstone that are already successful, are where the team will put their efforts moving forward. As we talk about the past, present, and future of Hearthstone, Bielman always brings every point he makes back to the players and what they want Hearthstone to be. He describes the relationship between the community managers, the content creators, those guys are the worst, and the high-end players as tightly knit and a constant source of input and direction for the game. I guess alluding to the creator Discord, which, yeah, we're very involved in discussing a lot of stuff. The players are the beginning, middle, and end of the experience, he says. A lot of the current design team is made up of those streamers and high-end players who are very in touch with the player point of view. I don't know. I like control decks. Is that in touch? I have no idea. They have a degree of empathy for any given player in the chair, but was also with the broader community at large. Bielman describes a studio that's heavily engaged in an ongoing dialogue with its community, one that values feedback and strives to make the best possible experience for every kind of player. And they have done that, except with the new board thing. Like, I know I bring it up all the time, but I feel like the vast majority of people would still like to see a new board every expansion. And this is one thing they seem to be pretty adamant. We're doing one a year, and we'll get you some pets maybe in the future or something. Like you get your favorite boards, maybe something. We just got a lot of vague promises when we made it very clear we'd like just, to keep the new boards. They're really good. And like the next expansion probably won't have one. And that's really lame. So they are listening to some feedback, but they're also selectively ignoring some. If you're a free-to-play player or if you're a heavily invested player in terms of time and dollars, how do we make sure you're having a great experience across the board? It's hard to tell how much Bielman is describing Hearthstone community engagement as it exists today, or if he's speaking more aspirationally, but with a 10-year anniversary in the rear view. Technically, look at this. It's supposed to be going on right now. Still, it's clear that his sights are set on a bright future. When I think about the future of Hearthstone, I want to be fearless. Sorry, don't like the buzzwords. I just don't. He says, I don't want to be careless, but I want to be fearless. I want to take some swings. I think you're going to see over the next year is we're taking a few swings. So buckle in, I guess. There's some bold decisions coming. Like, with the decisions they made almost this entire year, that's kind of dreadful. That's kind of making me worry. A lot said here in this interview, but also nothing of substance really said for the most part. Just thought it was interesting, but it does just feel pretty fluffy and like, yeah, we listen to you and we want to try things, but also be careful and listen to you, but not listen to you. It's just a weird one, but hey, at least we're getting some more communication from Tyler Bielman. We know that this man actually exists and is the director, so that's good to know, and we'll see what the future has in store. Anyways, let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.